do with our federal partners as it relates to some operational funding for the fire department, in the context of being able to hire some very needed employees, which we hope will be for a 3-year period of time. Our chief has been working a lot in this environment and prepared an application that we're ready to submit. And with your blessing and approval, follow up that application with an actual in-person visit in order to try to stimulate some support for the process that this application will need to go through. So if I may, Your Honor, turn that time over to the chief to walk us through some of the details and answer questions. I'd appreciate that.
Sounds good.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, thank you for this opportunity to talk to you tonight about this very important subject. The fire department has a long history of doing more with less, and we've been doing more with less since 1975. We have not added personnel to the fire department since 1975 until this last year. So back then, we were able to juggle and make things work. We were able to handle calls all up until recently. Now we're just in a situation where we need the staffing to be able to address what we're being tasked with. The Safer Grant funding is a huge opportunity for the city of Casper because it provides 3 years of funding to fund those positions and give the city the opportunity to work that into the budget. It's going to address multiple different big ticket items by getting these people hired. Once they are online, we will have our ladder truck and rescue trucks staffed 100% of the time. Currently, without this staffing, if we don't have enough staffing, we have people jumping back and forth from the ladder truck to the rescue truck, and then that other apparatus is left vacant. So that creates a problem because 48% of the time we have overlapping calls within the city, and the more calls we have, the bigger gaps there are, and leaving apparatus unstaffed and unmanned is not a good idea. And sooner or later, it's going to cause problems for our personnel and safety issues, or even worse, the community, and possibly put people's lives in danger. Once everybody is fully staffed, this is also going to help address the issue of callback overtime that we've been experiencing. We've been operating in a very outdated staffing model that didn't allow to staff our apparatus and at the same time not cause callback overtime. Once these individuals are hired and on the line, we're going to eliminate a big callback issue that we've been experiencing for 30 years. So it will be a cost savings over time and a better model overall. Do you guys have any questions of me?
Basically, this is the same program that I believe we approved last year for the 6 you brought on board last year this spring, isn't it?
So the 6 that we brought on were not specific to the Safer Grant. This is for the second round of 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And the application is due next week, so we're getting it buttoned up tonight to be reviewed tomorrow by our panels, and with you guys' blessing, we'll turn it in.
Everybody good?
I just want to clarify make sure I'm thinking about this correctly. So my understanding was we were down a number of positions in the department. Is that correct? And so I was thinking I didn't think we were down because of a budget issue, but more kind of finding and hiring qualified and capable candidates. Is that, am I thinking right there?
Mr. Mayor, Counselor, Yes, we have been down in our staffing recently due to a lot of retirements and turnover. Just like the police department, we have a very hard time recruiting. And we test once every 2 years, and we're seeing the numbers drop significantly every time we test. So you may be thinking of us being lacking in staffing due to a bunch of retirements recently.
Okay, okay, now that clarifies it, because the issue wasn't not being able to find, so you're saying you can, if you post positions, you can find the people?
Yes.
Usually, okay.
Yes, it just takes a while to get everybody through. It could take up 6-8 months
Sure,
before somebody is actually staffed and ready to be considered
Okay,
on the truck.
okay. So this would allow you to fill all those retired positions, as well as some additional.
Well, this is gonna help alleviate a lot of the projected forecasting of retirements we have within the next 5 years. So we have another 25 people in the next 5 years that are planning on leaving. And so not only will these people get us up to where we have the truck and rescue staffed 100% of the time, but we will still also have a buffer of personnel before we get into that callback mode.
Kind of give you some flexibility before you hit that big.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thanks for.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. But to be real clear, we are talking about growing the number of FTE by 6. And last year, we grew the number of FTE by 6 as well. So we are talking about growing the department by 12 with the assistance, hopefully, of this grant to make that possible.
Makes sense.
Any other questions? Everybody in favor? Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Next thing we've got is the agenda review.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the things I wanted to go over with the council tonight, if we could go ahead and pull up the exhibit, Amanda, is with regard to a follow-up item that we told you we would come back to eventually. We think that time might be appropriate to come back to at this time of the year. And for those of you who have seen this exhibit before, you probably recognize it, but for those who don't recall, this is at the corner of Trevitt and Robertson Road out in the west part of our community. All of the land that you see there outlined in yellow is actually city-owned property. And we have taken the opportunity a couple times in the past to try to sell that property in the means by which statutes allow, which generally is a solicitation of bids for a certain period of time and so forth, in order to gauge interest from the private sector in terms of buying that land for development. The last time we did this, we did not get viable responses, and council wasn't comfortable moving forward, which we concurred with and agreed that probably wasn't the right deal, if you will, to embrace. So the request to you tonight is whether or not you're comfortable with us moving forward with solicitations and ads to see if in fact we may generate some interest from the private sector.
Questions?
Well, the area's getting hot.
Do it.
So that area is developing and getting hot. That might be.
If everybody's in favor of going forward,
Thank you. We will do so, and hopefully we'll get a good bid. And beyond that, Mr. Mayor, that's really all I have.
very good. We are done until 6 o'clock then. So,
Thank you.
thank you.